jolly old England for Raw is War. It is going to be a fantastic program. I'm Lord Alfred Hayes. I'm here with Joe Ritter and Dominic Arbolino, and we have a tremendous Squared Circle. This is a 1-hour edition of the Squared Circle. That's right. We got an hour all summer, boys. As we hear the British Bulldogs theme song, rest in peace. He just died, I think his anniversary of his death 15 years ago.
That brought it down real quick.
Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, Dom, you're on that mic. Yeah. All right, Dom.
You've been there for the last year. It's cool.
Yeah, well. I'm here now. I'm in charge. All right. All right, gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about.
Wrestling.
We do. A lot. So, where do you guys want to start? Want to start from last week? Because all three of us went to Monday Night Raw.
With the big news right now that they just announced at the NBC Upfront in Manhattan, and then I think we should go into Raw.
Okay.
So
what's the big news?
The big news is that NBC had their Upfront where they're like promoting everything, and they announced there that the next big match for WWE is going to be Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey for the women's title at Money in the Bank.
Boring.
It's not all right. It's not that it's boring,
there?
But I think the only thing is that they're both obviously not going to be on Raw tonight because they're not there.
Nia's not?
No.
Why is Nia not?
Because they're not there.
Because they're in New York.
They're in New York right now.
Oh, they were actually there.
This happened like a couple hours ago.
So I'm okay with it as long as there's some type of build-up starting next week because obviously, again, they're not going to be there tonight. My whole thing is with matches nowadays is that when there's no build-up, there's no purpose to it, whether it's a title match or not. I understand the challenge was issued by Nia Jax today at the thing, whatever the case was, but I still want to see some heat, and I want to see some stuff happen. And if they want to put Nia over, this is the way to do it, but at the same time, can Ronda afford a loss like that right now in her first singles match?
How could you have Ronda lose?
Ronda's not going to lose. I would expect this to end either with a Ronda win. There's no way Ronda loses until at least next year's WrestleMania, or it ends with a disqualification and then a tag team match of some sort. I don't understand it because Nia, they're kind of pushing as this babyface, which I don't understand. She's a monster, and she needs
a bully.
She's a bully, that too, as we saw with Alexa Bliss. I'm just not a fan of her work, and for her to have Ronda's first singles match is ridiculous because she's not a good worker. She's good in her role in some aspects, but they need Ronda to go up somebody experienced, somebody that's willing to take a bump.
I thought they were going to go with Natalya.
I mean, they're kind of already booking it seemed like.
But it seems like, I guess, like Natalya is going to be a face for now because she's working with faces throughout the live tours. I think tonight
she's so unlikable.
Match. But I'm saying, so it's kind of weird where I was going with that. You would have almost thought that eventually, she turned heel on Ronda because, again, that's what it kind of seemed like they were going with. But I think this is... It's interesting, and I feel like it's unfortunate for Nia because I feel like her title reign for how she presented herself. So obviously, we know she's this big, unstoppable force, irresistible force, whatever the case is. So I feel like to only have it's kind of a short title defense. I'm not saying who knows. I mean, Nia could still win, but I doubt it. I really doubt it.
I don't see it happening.
I mean, there's been shorter title runs. Again, I would, as much as I don't like Nia, I would like to see her evolve her character, unless she just turns heel for some strange reason. I mean, she's doing all these corny promos of like, believe in yourself, you can be bullied and achieve anything.
I think that's the point, too, is that when you look at her heel character, I mean, she wasn't really, over at all. Obviously, with the heel, you're supposed to be not liked, but I'm saying, I feel like now you saw her kind of make this face turn, and, people started cheering for her more. You see, you hear a lot more cheers for Nia, which you never really had before, so I think that's their theory into, keeping her face, is that, she's finally getting cheers and all this stuff. I mean, I agree. The corny promos are annoying.
It's bad.
It's annoying.
I mean, and the thing is, we've seen babyface versus babyface. Well, for people that don't know, that means good guy versus good guy. We've seen that before, and for the most part, especially in this day and age, it does not work. We just saw with Shinsuke and AJ, there was no heat. So I personally, I like if one of these two turn heel. Obviously not going to turn Ronda heel, so Nia, I think, would need to turn heel.
Speaking of Shinsuke and AJ, by the way, they actually their match got announced for Money in the Bank again, so it's going to be their fourth time?
What is this, the stipulation?
Nothing yet, so maybe we'll be hearing that from Shane McMahon tomorrow, but as of right now, it was announced over Twitter that this will be Yeah, it's confirmed for me.
Iron knees match. This guy who can stand up the longest after taking those Pinchasas.
I don't have a problem with them doing this because, it's a fun rivalry that has switched things up. At least it's not the same shtick over and over again. It's gone from, face to face to Shinsuke turning heel to, disqualification. So hopefully it has a payoff. Back in the day, they used to have rivalries. The amount of times that Rock and Triple H fought in the year 2000, was astonishing. It seemed like every pay-per-view that year was between those two. So, again, they're no Rock and Triple H, but it's probably the best thing going on in the company right now, right?
When he says, I know speak English,
it's amazing.
The best thing on television.
I think so, too.
It's one of the best things on television because I'll tell you this, just from my own house, my dad hated Shinsuke Nakamura. He thought it was a stupid character.
I didn't care for him either.
And he thought it was a dumb character and there's nothing good about him. And then when he came out and goes, I know speak English, my dad lost his mind.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy, it totally is embracing what he is and what he could be. And my dad was like, this guy's hilarious. I love him.
He's great. He's a great heel.
And since then, he's been on fire. He's been an incredible heel.
I'm trying to think if Shinsuke was to win, who would be his competitors? I
would assume we would need to obviously get the rematch, which is unfortunate because then we'd have a fifth match between these two. You have to.
These guys, this rematch rule. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, in theory, you don't need a rematch. We've seen it before. Goldberg beat Kevin Owens. Owens never got his rematch. So in theory, you don't need a rematch unless they start up another rivalry right after it. Maybe with AJ getting attacked, you can do that. There's so many guys I'd like to see Shinsuke go up against. The one, of course, is Daniel Bryan. But personally, I don't want to see Daniel Bryan win the title until next year's WrestleMania. I want to see him win the Royal Rumble. He'll be around. He's going to sign his contract. It's pretty much set in stone. He said on Jericho's podcast that he's going to be sticking with WWE. So I want to see Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 35.
I'd rather AJ keep it right now and then just have him lose it to Samoa Joe. I want Samoa Joe to hold that title.
Joe is another name. I see. We've talked about this before, but I don't think Joe and AJ need to be for the title. So I wouldn't.
But I want Joe to have the title.
I do too.
So and you
I
can't
understand.
do Joe versus Shinsuke.
You can't. In theory, you can, but I would like for Samoa Joe to have the world title for once in his WWE career.
I don't think they're going to give it to him right now just because they did that whole thing at Backlash where they were trying to make Samoa Joe be like the bad guy and trying to make Roman look like the good guy, coming back. Because I was reading about that and they were saying that apparently the reason there were so many rest holds during that match was they wanted to build heat on Samoa Joe for just, doing nothing, whereas Roman was trying to break out and Roman was trying to make a great show when Samoa Joe was like, the story, like in story, was just going, whatever, I'll just hold him here. He won't move. So that was like, what they said why that happened, but it didn't work. People still hate Roman.
No, they hate him so much. And that brings us, I think we should go to last week's Monday Night Raw. And by the way, you're listening to the Squared Circle right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Justin Greenberg, Joe Ritter, Dominic Arbolino, and all three of us went to the Nassau Coliseum. I know it has a different name. Was it the Nassau Veterans Home of the
NYCB Live at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum?
Oh my God, it just rolls off the tongue. You know what they should host? The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal live at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
No, it's at NYCB Live presenting the
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Home of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
I'll tell you this. This is my first wrestling show at that new venue. I went to the last Raw that they had there at the old venue. I didn't go to the last Raw that they had at the new venue, if that makes any sense. But
last year they had a Raw.
I did not go to it.
They didn't go, which is the new Coliseum.
Yes. I enjoyed the show. I heard on TV, it wasn't anything special, but for me being there, I absolutely loved it.
Well, that's also because we had a great little...
We had a nice squad.
We had a nice little squad formed.
And of course, Dom wasn't with us. He was with his buddies.
But he definitely heard us, though.
No, I did not.
We started some good chants.
I actually enjoyed the Raw a lot. I thought, it could have been a lot worse for, the material we got from Backlash before. But, I did say last week that, this is, where they're able to refresh everything and start new. So I'm happy that you kind of see that. I'm trying to think of, what did it start out with?
Started off with Kurt Angle, who was great and didn't mess up. It's great. I love Kurt Angle. And I know, Dom, you never got to really watch Kurt Angle in his prime?
Kurt Angle in his prime was like 2004.
I know, but I still went back and watched his matches.
All right, so you didn't get to watch him.
What he's saying?
Okay.
You and me didn't get to see him when he was live.
Oh no.
So I don't know how much you know about how just awesome this guy was. Not only in the ring, but on the mic, he could garner heat better than just about anyone in the last 20 years.
He can almost break Shane McMahon's neck.
Yeah, in an awesome match in King of the Ring 2001.
Twice.
But Kurt, he came out and he did his role, and out came Braun Strowman, and him and Kevin Owens had a little match to start off Raw, and this was the only really in-ring promo for the most part. I think there was one other thing with Bobby Roode, maybe getting interviewed by Charlie, but this was really it. And, it's so different. If you watch Raws back in the day, it seems like all the other Raws have so many more in-ring promos. We just didn't happen to get them.
Yeah.
There was one on TV
with Bobby Lashley
that we didn't see at the
Coliseum, which I heard was awful.
And thank God
I didn't see it.
we didn't.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No, I heard it was bad.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
They're like, you think, all right, they're going to establish Bobby Lashley's character, and he's just like, I just got to say, Renee, I love my sisters.
What?
And she's like, politely like smiling and nodding. He's like, my one sister used to love this hat, my dad's army hat that he left behind when he died, and I thought it'd be funny to pull a prank, so I hid it on her. And she cried, and I gave it back because I love my sisters.
All right, let's move on.
It's like, what are you doing?
That is awful. That is awful.
Real quick, I just want to bring up something because you mentioned the Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens match. It was a Money in the Bank qualifier, which obviously the result was Braun Strowman winning. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with KO, and obviously there's still going to be more Money in the Bank qualifying matches.
Well, he just signed a 5-year deal with WWE, which they're saying is going to be he's going to finish out his wrestling career at WWE. That after that, it's going to probably be it for him.
He's the best thing on Raw, in my opinion.
He's one of
him and
the
Seth
best
Rollins are killing it on Monday Night Raw.
The biggest thing on Raw right now is No Way Jose, but
it's funny how you brought up those two people that you would think are the best people on Raw because they actually have a match tonight for the Intercontinental Championship.
It's going on right now, I think, or just finished maybe.
Yeah, so Raw.
Yeah, that's right.
So Raw is in England. So all this stuff, if you want to look up spoilers,
right now. You could go online and look up what's happening.
I'm
right
never
now.
a fan of Raw being taped. Back in the day, it used to be taped, ever so often.
I'll try to find some updates to see the matches.
Yeah.
I won't tell you guys who wins or what because obviously you want to watch.
Well, I've got a couple of matches that have already been leaked for tonight.
What are they? Lay them on us.
It's 2 Money in the Bank qualifying matches. They're both triple threat. I know this one's really bad. I'm just gonna give you a warning right now. It's Bobby Roode versus No Way Jose versus Baron Corbin. That's the first one.
Oh my God!
Can I just say, if Roode doesn't win that, it's really sad.
Oh
I know.
My God, that's awful.
Rude.
That is so bad.
The second one is Alexa Bliss versus Bayley versus Mickie James.
I like that.
So that one's all right.
Yeah,
one's all right.
Hopefully Alexa Bliss wins. I think she'll do some cool stuff on the ladder.
I think so too because I think Alexa Bliss and Mickie James are going to, start attacking Bayley, and you're going to have Sasha run out just like Bayley ran out during the Riot Squad. So I could definitely see that happening.
Can we also say, how did they make that not being cared for at all? Bayley versus Sasha.
It's not going to happen anymore. It's 100% not going to. They're like going to make up.
They went from making that going to be like, this is going to be the thing to, this is brutal.
Awful.
No one wants to watch this.
It's absolutely awful.
They turned everyone off to the idea of one of the best NXT rivalries ever.
That they had an amazing match at the takeover before SummerSlam. It stole the weekend.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah, in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was
That was Brooklyn 1.
Yeah.
Now they're at Brooklyn
it was even
3.
better than the men's ladder match that they had that year. It was off the chart stuff, man.
So, and they took that, that like legacy of these two can put on an incredible performance and just
tarnish it. Well, that happens.
Threw it in the dirt. Whatever.
Awful.
Happens.
Right, so what else? Let's go back to last week's Raw. Anything else that really stood out to me? The performances of the main event was really, the highlight of the show. The crowd was super into it. Everyone hated Roman Reigns. Finn Balor was over like Rover, and Sami Zayn probably got the biggest, if not one of the biggest pops of the night.
When he hit him with that haluva kick?
Everything. Every offensive move on Roman Reigns.
Got cheered. Every single one, yeah.
Every single thing. And even when Roman, got up, we just started booing the crap out of him.
As soon as we saw him from our seats, we started chanting.
And Nassau Coliseum is a great venue for wrestling. So many great events have taken place there. I'm even going to be covering one in a little segment when we go back in time. But even WrestleMania 2 took place at the Nassau Coliseum. So it has a rich history.
Yeah,